Okay. Here we go. Oh, it's live. It didn't even give us a warning. Well, good morning, everybody.
Like watch we're like live while we're all trying to figure out.
Oh no, hang on the refrigerator.
We're just starting off great Friday. We're on fire today.
No, we had to figure out how to do this cool split screen thing, which we figured out, so that's pretty cool. So I guess now we get to say who else wants to come hang out.
Yes.
That was very easy.
So why are we split screen? So I'm traveling all over Europe right now, aka the land of Linwood,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
We got in this massive fight, and I just couldn't stay at home, so I raced to my parents' house. No, that didn't happen either. Although I will say it is kind of funny when you say I'm sleeping at my parents' house tonight. It's like, oh, is everything okay? Everything Is everything okay? Like, how are things going? It's like, no, I just wanted to. We
Yeah.
watched the show. It was good.
What did you guys do last night?
Well, we sat by this amazing. My dad built a lake in the back of his house, and we just sat there and hung out by the fire, and we made some grilled chicken on the stove, and then uh, we hung out inside for a bit, and then we watched a lot of movie trailers. And then it was kind of late, and we're like, I don't want to start a movie. And then we put the kids to bed. It was fun. Oh, we also went to the school and like played with Carnegie's RC car, and we were doing like crazy jumps and stuff, and that was a lot of fun too. Um, and we rode our bikes, and I threw the ball for Polar in the lake. But I did.
I feel like you were not there for very long, and you did a lot of things.
Yeah, we did. Well, because we got there at like 3. I even took my dad to the clinic, and I was like playing chauffeur. It was kind of nice. It's just kind of nice changing things up a little bit, breaking the cycle. Habits and rhythms are really, really good. But sometimes I think you can appreciate the rhythms you're in. It's like when you go on vacation, you open the door and you're like, home sweet home. That for me, that's what it does as well. Because it's like you get into a rhythm and then you start to like be great. You start to forget the value of those rhythms and the seasonality of things. And then so for me, uh, little like excursions or doing things for like 24 hours or 48 hours is really helpful because it kind of breaks it up and it keeps you alert, but it also helps remind you of the things you want to keep doing or stop doing, which I like. You know, I will say my morning rhythm was off though because I didn't have my coffee routine, and I'm starting to realize um, how much I enjoy. I see that coffee pot behind you, and I want it. Oh, so you have a good coffee. You never drink. See, that's a good one.
Yeah, I have the good coffee when you're gone.
What the heck?
No, I just used the Pixie because I didn't want to make a full pot because I was lazy.
So how was your solo mom time?
It was fine. Um, so I have a propensity to work when Zach's gone, or like put the pedal to the metal. Hey, get down. Hey, sorry, cat. Judy. Okay. I have a propensity to work or like overwork, so I was trying to not do that. I was able to do some, and I was pretty good at not doing so much of that. So
Would
I went for a walk and I went for a run,
Hello, Judy.
and I went on the trails, and I need new running shoes really badly. Trail shoes and running shoes are not one and the same. And then I made a really good dinner. Okay. Does everybody know who Celeste Barber is? You
Who's
don't
the?
know who Celeste Barber is. You know who Celeste Barber is.
I know. I'm just keeping the conversation and
Oh.
just keeping it pumping.
Well, Celeste Barber is a really, really funny comedian, Australian comedian woman, who I would say in the States became really popular, I don't know, like 2019 maybe. And she does like there'll be like these funny model pictures or videos from like photo shoots or something that are just like totally outrageous and like very unrealistic. And
Should
then
be fun.
Celeste Barber, who is like a very, very typical woman, does them, but like satirically, and they're really, really funny. So, anyway, so she has a little show on Netflix, and they're just like 30-minute
Oh, did
episodes.
you watch it?
Well, it wasn't her stand up. It was like a show. And I am telling you, Australia really needs to just like start pumping out shows because I could listen to all of them talk like
I
all
forgot
day long.
it's Australian.
Yeah. So because their accents are so cool and it's a really it's a cute show. I mean, it's great, but the talking in it is just so amazing because I just love their accent uh on the show. So
That's
it was
awesome.
cute. They're like 30-minute little episodes and so I watched a couple of those.
We watched a show when the kids went to bed called Night Agent, and it was a bit like it was kind of fun action movie. But I'm sorry, but like sometimes it's like these people are just so stupid. Like when they're like their arms, they're like their house is getting attacked. It's just like the decisions people make, and like I just feel like I don't know. I understand that not everyone's like lethal attack in their house, and they don't have like a killer trying to like break in. But just some of the decision makings that these people make, it's like, why would on earth? Like, I don't know. It just seems like weird to me. The do, you know?
Was it a kids movie?
No, no. It was after the kids went to bed. It was like some show on Netflix about like this lady. She was staying at her friend's house, and she finds out her friends are like secret agents, but then they get like murdered because they're like secret agents, and then she gets like she's like some average woman that gets looped into this like underground, you know, hitman, CIA, FBI kind of agency kind of clash, kind of like imagine like a Born Identity situation, And
Mm-hmm.
now she's like on the run, and they have like the world's elite like force is like trying to kill her because she was like a witness, and then she slowly gets like pulled into this agency and is like now she's like privy to all this classified information. It's like they wouldn't do any of that. I'm sorry, I don't know. And it's just funny, but then yeah, then she slowly becomes like this badass. But yeah, it just goes to show like how there's a lot of liberties that are taken. But I also kind of wonder like I don't know, which slightly changes the subject. That makes me think about. Did you have certain like thoughts on like go back like way into high school, middle school, high school era, even college? Did you have certain like concepts or perspectives on like what our I mean, because we were dating for a long time, what our relationship should look like, or like any romantic relationship was that ever shaped by TV? And I don't know. I feel like a lot of guys were, I think, uh, thrown off by the silliness. Like I don't think they like really knew what to do with
Yeah.
like American Pie era and just like those like weird coming of age movies. I don't know, but it's like I feel like it added a lot of confusion too.
I think, yeah. I mean, yeah, all of
But
it.
that happened to women the same way. Like, do you have a perspective on like how you?
Do I have a perspective of how filmmaking has shaped how people see women? Are we really going to start this conversation on a live? I think you know my opinions.
Yeah.
You forgot about that?
No, I
You
said.
would.
Well, no, because because you don't when you're young, you don't see it from that perspective. You only see it from like, oh, that must be what's. I mean, it's Hollywood.
It's
It's.
very subtle. It adds to the template of what you think should
uh,
happen or should be.
Yeah, yeah. That's the template. It gives you like a reference point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why relationships are so screwed up right now is because everybody's like, I don't understand. Why isn't this like she's all that? Like I look great now. Why doesn't this person like me? I took
yeah,
my glasses off and I threw a ponytail in my hair and now I'm beautiful. Why doesn't this person like me? I mean, yeah, it's a huge issue.
yeah. That's a good point.
And maybe not consciously, but subconsciously.
Well,
But what I don't think, but I also think that we also watch films for entertainment value, so like the critiques were not there as much.
yeah,
I think as young kids, where you do have those knee jerk reactions like you had to this film is like in horror movies. Like, don't go that way. Oh,
Yeah. Well,
more.
that makes me think about it's kind of evolved a little bit because I think it's just as we have less time to like watch like an insane amount of movies and stuff, but we also have different ways of connecting. I still have like this affinity and memory of like watching just like goofy. Like we still have like a thing for like some together, but like not like not any old sci-fi because there's certain sci-fi's that you don't really like. I'll watch on my own. You don't really, but I think you like we used to watch some pretty goofy kind of alien alien movies, things like
Any
that.
alien movie.
Like, but like, where did that happen? Like, was that always a thing? 'Cause it's not like, but not like Aliens, like not like horror Alien. Like, 'cause Aliens is kind of more like thriller horror.
Yeah, but we still watch those. I don't know. I think I don't know why we like those. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think that's just
I
a weird thing that
get
we like.
growing up when you're dating, especially when you're young and when you're really young and you're dating, like the whole Sharknado concept and just watching like
Mhm.
octopus versus shark and all that.
Those, but also like good ones like Cloverfield, which is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, I always thought
Highly underrated.
I'm actually shocked that they haven't done like more spin-offs of that.
Cinematic genius right there.
Yeah,
Did
well,
not get appreciated like it should have.
no, and I don't think they should. They didn't do enough. I feel like they should have done more spin-offs of that movie. It could have done. I'm actually shocked that they haven't, to be honest. Done more.
Well, I think that movie cost a lot of money, so I think that's probably why.
It's nice to have like an original too. Like, but there's so many different ways you can take it. Like like quiet it's not the same realm, but like
Oh, like A Quiet Place.
yeah, like a Quiet Place. Like you could see. I
Mhm.
think they're gonna do one more, maybe. I think, but like that kind of vibe where it just kind of builds on
I
top
can't
of it.
remember how it ended.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it too.
They were on that like island, or they went to that like, but
Uh,
then they came there, so I don't know.
we need to watch that again. We should watch that with the kids. No,
No,
not yet. It's not gory, is it?
it's more like bah,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's very suspenseful. It's very suspenseful.
But
It
there
is
is,
like hat on, like this is how I watch Quiet Place. It's like
yeah, Adam has a
it does feel better. Isn't that weird? Like it actually feels so much better to watch a movie like that. Or you plug your ears and go like this. That way your senses are a little bit dampened, so it's not as scary.
my
I
brother-in-law.
also can't watch scary movies, so I have to watch any suspenseful movie like that.
My brother-in-law Adam has a funny picture of me because we were watching Cocaine Bear, and that movie is just ridiculous. And it's like it's like kind of not gross. It's just like it's a bear killing people. He has a picture of me being like it's like and I have like popcorn all over my body. I'm just like
I have not seen that picture. That's funny.
yeah, it was funny. Yeah, it's funny. We kind of felt like an affinity. There is that movie coming out though too. I think it's called like 65. Has the guy from Star Wars, Kylo Ren. We got to go see that
That's
together.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, but it's like alien dinosaurs. I don't know.
No, I think it's dinosaurs. He like goes back in time or into the future up
I thought it
time.
goes to a different like. I thought it goes to a different planet that has dinosaurs
Yeah, something like that.
too. Okay.
Something like that. I don't think they're aliens, but I don't like gore, and I don't like things that will. Um, I think why I don't like gore, like horror films, is because that's more like people.
Yeah.
Meaning, like it could be in the realm of possibility of like. Whereas if I watch aliens or something with dinosaurs, I don't feel as scared.
That's true. Yeah, it's easier to run away. Yeah, it's like taking your kids. Like we were talking to my parents about that last night, and even my mom's like, "Ah, she wouldn't. They wouldn't take them to that movie, would they?" And I'm like, "Guys, we didn't take our kids to Scream." But I think it. You were a lot confident that people were gonna think it was a joke. I'm like, I don't know.
Clearly, we put out a vibe that we might accidentally take our kids to a slasher film. I thought it was really funny, and apparently it was not as obvious.
I didn't get the reaction I was hoping for. But what was I gonna say? I do feel like oh man, I was gonna say something really good too, and I forgot about it, but it's okay. I was gonna ask you to change the subject again. So, are you what's your so I know you did a good job with your walking and stuff, but like what's your assessment so far of
I
we
don't actually feel like I did a good job. Running was really hard.
but
Kept going.
did you like go into like relaxation mode?
I tried. I did my best. I need like 2 or 3 nights to really like, So if you want to stay, no. Yeah, I feel like no, it just went by really fast because I didn't want to stay up too late, so it went by really really fast.
What'd
Like
you go to bed?
I don't know, 10.
10?
So it just like it went by really really fast. So because I like made dinner or I went for a run and I made dinner and like like all that just like kind of took time and then or like sat and watched a show. Like yeah, it went by fast. It just went by fast. And I was working, like I got some work done, and it just kind of went by fast.
Well, I guess we'll next time we'll have I'll stay home for 3 days. You take the kid and the dog, and we'll go from there and see what happens.
No,
It
you
is,
like you like going. I don't. I like my house by myself.
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's funny how well I'm able to lift you up as much as I can in that regard, boo.
Hmm.
You know?
What I did read a lot, and I'm reading this book called 4,000 Weeks, which I've talked about before. But this last chapter that I read, and I'll probably continue reading it, is was about how we are so bad at estimating how long something's going to take, but if we give ourselves longer, then it still just takes longer. So,
Interesting.
like, if you think getting ready is only going to take 30 minutes, history shows it takes 36 minutes. So, if you give yourself 40 minutes,
You take
it's
40.
still going to take 45 minutes. And so, it was just talking about how a plan is just a like hopeful intention basically, and it's great because it gives you something to do in the present moment, but that we then get mad about not being able to control the outcome
Yeah.
necessarily, because you can do everything in your power to get ready or whatever it is, but who's to say a kid's not going to have a fit or the toilet gets clogged or you drop all your makeup on the floor and right there's a mess now to pick up or whatever it is. And so it's like all of those things in the mix. And so that we do a really bad job at estimating time, partially because time was never something that we actually had to begin with. So we're like trying to manipulate something that isn't ours.
Gay Hendricks talks about that, right? In the Big Leap.
Yeah. So he talks about it as the as Einstein time.
Okay.
So this book is it doesn't talk about Einstein time specifically, but it is what it's talking about.
Huh. I always kind of figure like I always am confronted with those. I feel like I could use a lot of that, but then there's also like this need of like, isn't that kind of like sometimes it feels like more of it for me, of like, well, how could you like squeeze the juice? But I think the point of it is it's not that. It's really just it wouldn't be honest to say you're maximizing time,
Right.
but for whatever reason that's still what it feels like. And I don't know, does the book acknowledge that? Because I feel like anyone who would read that book is trying to get the quote unquote most out of time, right?
Yes, and also learning how to just accept and like release it. It's actually about giving up control of time versus
But
controlling.
in doing so, you actually are more productive.
No, it's not about being more productive. It's about being more present.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe I do need to read this book.
It's about being more present and just and not getting so upset if you're like one of my favorite parts so far was like people don't want to settle and people don't want to miss out on things. But if you like are let's say you're settling on a partner.
Okay.
Like, oh, I got married and I don't know, I feel like I settled. I don't feel this way, but let's just say someone changed this way. Maybe I felt like this way like a long time ago. So let's just feel like if you had a partner and you feel like you had settled on that marriage, on that relationship, that the other side of that could be not settling or waiting around, but then you're waiting around and you're settling for that. Like you're settling for being picky, for making sure someone checks off all the boxes. You're settling for finding the right person. You're settling for like all of these reasons. And maybe you don't want to be a single person. You actually want to be partnered with somebody. And so because of that, you're like upset. So you're either going to settle with a person over here or you're going to settle in the life you're living over here. But at some capacity, you are settling right now. So like you can think, oh, we should have done X, Y, and Z 10 years ago. That would have been such a better choice.
Yeah.
But we settled for doing this, this, this. It's like, yeah, but you're going to settle somewhere. It's really just about choosing, right? But noticing that in certain areas, and they're always the areas that we want to get really mad or upset about, you're settling somewhere. And similarly, with not missing out, is just like, well, changing that and saying, well, I'm missing out on this thing over here because there's this bigger picture that I want to like fill in the space for. So I'm going to like miss out on that for now to enjoy what I'm doing over here. And so he calls it the joy of missing out. He's like, because give yourself a pat on the back. If you are like what we're doing right now, like we're missing out on a lot of things. We're missing out on a lot of things that we want to be doing or saying no to things or whatever for this season that we're in. And look at like the joy that it will be by doing the things that we actually want to be doing, right? So it's like the joy of missing out. So it's more so about perspective and just really
Maybe I need to.
present to it instead of trying to fit more in. And because of it, it also forces you to take radical responsibility over the things that you are doing because that's what you're deciding to do. No one's making you, no one's like,
How's this
you
book?
can, you can argue like, oh, well, my kids did this and they're making me do that, or my kids, or my husband, he never does that. He's always doing this. And it's like, well, you're still settling for that. So like that's
Would I like this book?
um I know you would like the content of this book. I don't know if you would necessarily love the language in this book. It is very heady.
Oh, what? It's
It
funny.
is not it is not like a easy digestible, Mark Batterson or like Gay Hendricks book. It's very, very heady, but it's very, very good.
Yeah, I can say personally that for me, speaking of being heady, I can function in a place of heady, but I'm also forward looking. I'm always future focused, and while that can be very good in terms of anticipation and in a healthy way, ironically, that constant forward looking operating system actually can remove productivity because I'm actually not present if I'm always thinking about the future. So it's
That's the that's like the chapter I just read was like how it's important to have a plan, but then not but using your time differently within inside the plan because you get too overwhelmed by things that are so far out of your control.
yeah.
And that's like where the paralyzation comes in. And yeah. And then the other thing that came about with some clients and some coaching partners, and we're talking about, vacations and things like that, and just certain things I was noticing about time is we're really married to results and the amount of time that they take. However, we also are really married to the other side of that, which is making considerations or choices that are going to push us farther from our results for very, very short term pleasure. So, take vacation, for example. We may have somebody who, has been seeing X, Y, and Z results. I mean, just fast, quick, 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 amazing results. And because we know the averages, right? Like we coach a lot of people, so we know the averages. We know what's normal. We know
You
what's
said
slow. We know what's right. Like we see it all.
I just want to correct you. You said vacations.
Yeah. So in our eyes, we could say, "Oh my gosh, someone is like blasting through this. Their commitment is insane. Their integrity is wildly good, and they're seeing the results that they want." Whereas that person could say, I wish I was going faster. I really wanted to be here, right? Because people who are doing something, you always tend to like overestimate what you can do in a short period of time.
Just to
Now,
keep it focused, so you're saying, but you might want to back up and explain what you're talking about. Because you
yeah.
said
So hang on, because you're cutting me off, and I'm trying to get to the vacation part. So when it comes to vacations, which is like a little blip on a health journey. I mean, a vacation is like such a tiny little blip on a health journey. We're so fast to complain about all of this work. Oh, I wish it was this. I wish it was that. I wish it was faster. I wish it was this. I wish it was that. Blah, blah, blah. And then we will, for the blip, go, oh, I don't care. Short term pleasure. I don't care. I'm just going to throw it out the window or do whatever. And then come back and go, oh, I wish it was fast. I wish it was this. I wish it was that. I wish it was that. I wish it was that. And then till the next thing, we're like, oh, I don't care. So it's just so funny because it's really just settling for where you're at, because you can settle in like the disappointment all the way up until the vacation and then say, I'm going to enjoy my vacation. I'm a freaking rock star. Go right through the vacation and then keep going. Oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And settle in that presence, like of what's actually happening. Or you can settle in the presence of, oh, I wish it was faster. I wish it would be blah, blah, blah. But really all of it is just not being really present to it. But we're very, very quick to like change our thinking for a short-term pleasure. So we
mm,
can complain about something and then we make a decision that will make that something even more, a bigger something to complain about.
yeah.
Period.
I don't know where maybe I think it was in the John Maxwell book that I was reading, but it's similar concept. I don't know the analogy he used, but it's like you're trying to like. Oh, this is not the analogy he used, but this is what I'm thinking about. It's like an oven when it's preheating. Like it might be like 300, 305, 310, 315, 320. It takes a while, and the problem is like let's say you get to 390. And if you open up that oven, let's say you can't start it until it hits 400, then it just drops back down to like 280 too early, and you lose all of that progress. Versus if you just waited like maybe 3 minutes longer, you could have maintained a hotter temperature. Kind
Mm-hmm.
of like that's what you're saying. It's like people are relieve the pressure cooker. It's like the buildup all offsets itself.
Right. And then the settling is in going, oh, this is taking so long. This is taking so long. Not realizing that the subconscious choices are making it take so long.
Do you think that relates? I kind of like thinking about that, how that relates in all areas, like even in terms of like marriages and relationships and work. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's a production side of this of like trying to get something done effectively around the house. It could be a project, it could be your health, it could be relationship as well. Um, I'm trying to think of a good analogy on how that would relate to like your couple that might be struggling with, that's trying to like build. Because I've heard you've heard those phrases of like, well, we were doing good for so long, but I think that's a little bit more of like the strikes that we talk about of living inside of a fantasy or an upper limit. So it might be a little bit different of a swim lane, but it makes me think of that a little bit too.
Well, I think it's because it's easy when you are settling for, oh, it's really great. Why do we need to do anything?
It's almost the second you start to, although I know for us, like in my, as I reflect, the moment I'm like, wow, things have been good for like a really long time. Right when I think that, it's usually like 3 days later or something. Like it just kind of falls flat. It's like it's almost like a human, like you, because it's like once you realize that it's been so good, anything compared to that is now negative.
Oh yeah, it could be the smallest thing.
Yeah, yeah,
It could be the smallest thing. It could be you didn't talk lovingly to me one time when you asked me to unload the dishwasher and now I'm pissed. It's like that's not like a real thing. It's just frustration because the dishwasher wasn't unloaded or whatever. It doesn't even but that small little thing will be like, "Oh, you're so rude," because it's adjacent to all of this like whatever, like lovey-dovey perfect world.
yeah,
But I think that is the problem. Like when you talk about time or settling, I think that's like the human condition is, well, everything's fine. Everything's good. I don't need to do anything. And you're settling right there.
hmm
Because the thing is that something is coming.
yeah. What was
Something is coming. Like it doesn't matter. Like no one is immune to something coming. And have you having like the right experience of relationship, you can experience the some things that are coming not as explosive.
Yeah. Yep.
Because
Speak.
I mean, because we've had a lot of things thrown our way or have come, and they used to be huge and last days and days and days, and now they're like blips.
Yeah, letting things be does help a lot. Like, when you have that, um, I feel that daily with you. No, I just, you start to notice it. You just,
Well, and actually this was in the book too, and I've said this before. I know you've heard me say this before. Is where it's like, why don't you get mad or why doesn't that bother you? And it's just like I just don't mind it. Like
mm.
when people are like, "Oh my gosh, that person was so rude," or X, Y, and Z, or "Can you believe that?" I'm like, I
Ted
just
Lasso,
don't mind it.
goldfish, baby.
Yeah, like I just don't mind it.
Yeah.
I just like there are so many things I'm like, I just don't mind it. And it's not to say you don't care or you're not like a human and that you're like a robot, but it does help decipher what you actually want to experience.
Mm, mm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Well, I'm excited to experience my home again. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Less than 24 hours later, I want to get back home. I do. It's funny though. It's like little comforts because I wanted my coffee, but my dad has an espresso machine,
Mhm.
and which is great. But like, we usually will prime our coffee. And again, I can't believe I'm saying this because in like a fresh ground espresso is way better than just a pour over black coffee. But you get there's this weird pleasure in the predictability and that comfort. Um, and it's like finding that balance of it all. But it's like it's funny how that relates to so many things. Um, the post I did yesterday was about like the familiar suffering, but there's also like a familiar comfort as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it's funny. I can't believe this is our first split, but it's possible. Look at that. More to come. Now we can invite people on.
Mhm.
We need a good topic though. I think I'm excited for tomorrow. If you're listening to this, our garden topic.
Why are you being so ominous? Why aren't you just saying what we're doing?
Oh, I was just queuing you up. I was just queuing you up
Oh,
for that.
were you? Because I was not picking that up. Tomorrow we
I had
have
coffee. I've only had I haven't even had my coffee. That's part.
a my allergies are bad, everyone. That's why I keep going like this. Oh my eyes. Um Tomorrow we have a relationship by design community call, which anybody can hop on. You do not have to be a client, a workshop participant, or anything like that. It's free for everybody. You can hop on, engage in the conversation. The topic tomorrow is your relationship garden. Is it growing or is it withering? Or
Or
maybe it's just status quoing. So, and there's nothing to bring or anything like that. You can just hop on Zoom, you can listen in, say hi. This is typically a camera on type of group, so you're going to want to be sure you're not in your underpants. I mean, if you are, fine, but we just might turn your screen off. And yeah, it'll be great. It'll be
hang,
really, really fun.
yeah, let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
We have
And they're
exciting.
normally like about an hour ish.
Yes, yes, 100%,
So
100%.
if you need that link, just leave a comment or send Zach or myself a message, and we will be sure to loop you in on that.
Yes,
And there's a week left to register for the workshop in Seattle.
let's do it. Love to have you.
Yep.
What? Anything else? Anything really juicy? Anything like just like captivating, just riveting? You want to just bring up? Do you want to put like a spoke in the tire and just
We are creating something really, really great behind the scenes that nobody really knows about yet. And I will say that when you are trying to create something out of nothing and it happens to be around relationship, a lot of things sound like dating sites or like sites to like sleep around. So if that's you and you need a name for something like that, I have a lot because a lot are on the cutting room floor that I had to ditch because they sound like
dating
Bumble or you
ban
know words like that. Yeah, banter. Yeah.
ban?
So anyway, that was just a little funny because it's like, oh, this is I'll think of something and I'm like, oh, this is really great. This is like a really great phrase. And then the more I look at it, I'm like, that looks like I am wishing to sleep around with someone.
Another, good app name would be Tumble. That'd be good. Tumble. No, for like
No,
like
I
a
know. No, I know. But I
tum.
feel like I want to say like that exists.
Does it? Probably does.
There should be an app called Boink.
No, gosh.
See, it's really
Hey,
easy.
boink.
It's
Oh,
really easy. That's what I'm saying. So anyway,
this went this went one direction. Leave it to Sierra. Oh my gosh.
sorry. Okay. Anyway,
We'll see you then. We'll see you another time. Is it Friday today?
it's Friday today, friends, so have a great weekend.
Awesome. See you.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. I'll see you in a little bit, boo.
Bye.